There are some trips you take because you want to. Some trips you take because you have to. And then there are trips you'll remember for the rest of your life. This is one of those trips. I was headed to Georgia to attend my son's turning green ceremony and basic training graduation. For months, he had been training, pushing through challenges, and working towards his moment. As a father, I wasn't going to miss it. What I didn't realize was how difficult the trip would be for me physically. At the time, inflammation in the arch of my foot had become severe. The pain changed the way I walked. That affected my knee, then my hip. By the time this trip came around, every step hurt. I relied heavily on a cane, and even short distances were beginning to become difficult. But some moments in life are worth pushing through for. This was one of them. After arriving in Georgia, we attended the turning green ceremony. For those unfamiliar with the tradition, it marks an important milestone in a soldier's journey and recognizes the transformation from trainee to soldier. As a soldier marched onto the field, family and friends watched from the stands. You could feel the excitement and pride in the air. Months of hard work, discipline, sacrifice, and determination had led to this moment. Watching the ceremony unfold, it was impossible not to feel proud of what these young men and women had accomplished. The ceremony itself was meaningful, but one of the most memorable moments happened afterwards. Families were invited onto the field to participate in the tradition of placing the army patch on their loved one's uniform. While I didn't film that part, it was a moment I'll never forget. For many families, including ours, it represented the completion of one chapter and the beginning of another.
Lieutenant Colonel Scott, Command Sergeant Major Lawrence, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, welcome to the Turning Green ceremony of Aries Company, 2nd Battalion, 29th Infantry Regiment. Today, we recognize the soldiers before you for their successful completion of basic training by donning the United States Army patch. The United States Army patch signifies that each soldier has attained the rite of passage into the United States Army. In order to understand the importance of this ceremony, you must first understand the task of the soldier. The American soldier carries the fight to the enemy around the world. The American soldier joins the American Marines, sailors, airmen, Coast Guard, and Guardians in defending our freedoms, our liberty, and our way of life. The American soldier is the standard bearer for all the world's armies, and your sons have joined this team today. The soldiers to your front have trained hard over the last 10 weeks. They are now proficient in their warrior tasks, warfighting skills, and can survive on any battlefield against all enemies. They have embraced the soldier's creed and the warrior ethos. They are soldiers first, last, and always. These soldiers have undergone a rigorous transformation from civilian to soldier. With the assistance of the drill sergeants, these soldiers standing before you have mastered the basic skills necessary to become soldiers in the United States Army. The task of the drill sergeant is to mold ordinary individuals into highly trained, highly motivated, and well-disciplined soldiers. However, these soldiers have just started their journey after successfully graduating basic combat training here at Fort Benning. March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and Ladies and gentlemen, this completes the turning green ceremony. On behalf of the Commander and Captain of Aries Company, 2nd Battalion, 29th Infantry Regiment, we would like to thank you for attending today's ceremony. Dear parents and friends, please come to the podium for more information regarding the family impact. Say again, please come to the podium for more information regarding the family impact. Thank you.
After the ceremony, we visited the National Museum of Infantry. The museum is incredible. There is simply too much history to cover in a single video. Walking through the exhibits gave you a deeper appreciation for the generation of men and women who served before. Every photograph, every display tells a story of service, sacrifice, courage, and commitment. As I moved through the museum, I found myself reflecting not only on military history, but also on the journey that I had brought us here. By this point, my foot pain had become much worse. The inflammation in the arch of my foot was affecting my knee and hip, and walking a long distance had become extremely painful. To continue exploring the museum, I used a wheelchair. Years ago, I might have looked at that as a setback. Today, I see it differently. I've learned that adapting isn't quitting. Using a cane doesn't mean giving up. Using a wheelchair doesn't mean giving up. Sometimes moving forward means finding another way. The goal isn't to do things the way you used to do it. The goal is to keep moving. And that's something this journey continues to teach me. The following day was graduation day. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. The soldiers marched onto the field one at a time. Looking across the formations, I couldn't help but think about everything they had gone through to reach this point. The long days, the early mornings, the physical challenges, the mental challenges, the commitment required to stay focused when things become difficult. As a parent, we spend years helping our children learn to stand on their own. And one day you realize they have. Watching the graduation ceremony unfold filled me with pride. Not because the journey had been easy, but because he stayed, committed, and finished what he started. There is something powerful about seeing a goal through to the end. When the ceremony concluded and the soldiers marched off the field, it marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. For these new soldiers, a new journey was beginning. For me, it was also a reminder. Life doesn't stop challenging us. Some battles are physical, some are emotional. Some are visible, and some are not. But no matter what we face, we always have a choice. We can stop, or we can keep moving forward. This trip reminded me of that. My son took another step forward in his life. And despite the pain, despite the setbacks, despite the challenges, I was able to be there to witness it. That alone made every mile worth it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, leave a comment, and join me as I continue sharing the ups, downs, challenges, and victories that come with rolling back to life. I appreciate every one of you who follow the journey and takes the time to watch these videos. Until next time, keep moving forward. This is Rolling Back to Life. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Don with Rolling Back to Life. I'll see you next time.